Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 11 of Installation Route, where we are just about to finish charging our energy cores that we started charging up last video. So we built this system to charge up a stabilizer and then use the stabilizer to stabilize some energy cores, and I'm on my last 5. So let's stabilize these real quick, and that completes a whole stack of stabilized energy cores. That is a whole 64 of them, and we will be using those today to reach the end of part 2 and move on to part 3. So we have to make this fission controller, or fission multi-block, which is a whole lot of blocks. Let's get started on that. So the controller itself looks quite easy, but these coils, oh boy, these coils, that's a lot of signalum. Nonetheless, as usual, let's start with the low-hanging fruit. So one machine controller, then the casings are the next hardest part, I believe. How many of these did we need? 36 casings. So that's 18 blocks of lapis, some steel. That's not bad at all. Part of the reactor casing is lumium, and while we have begun the process of making lumium, it takes a lot of lumium ore gravel to make even like a block or a piece of lumium. So for the 38 casings, we need 36 casings. We need 18 lumium, and I think that's it, right? None of this is lumium. So anyways, for that, we're gonna have to grind down some more mobs. I made the biosynthesizer. The book seems to imply that this machine spawns mobs. So yada yada yada. Given the necessary parts and a sample of the creature's drops, it can produce a steady supply, but it doesn't tell me what drops it needs. Like it doesn't tell me in JEI, it doesn't tell me in the book. So I'm just going to assume that if an item can come from the mob disassembler, it can also spawn the mob in the biosynthesis unit. I'm going to use blaze rods because using gunpowder, I'm not convinced it won't spawn creepers. Oh wait, I can't do blazes. Blazes don't drop monster dust. Dang it. All right, let's find something else that definitely... How about ender? No, but maybe they can teleport. The quests also warn me that apparently it has to be in the dark if I want zombies, so I don't want zombies or other darkness related mobs. You know what, let's just try it with a blaze rod to spawn a mob. But this thing uses energy cores, and not only does it use energy cores, according to this, if we can find it again, it only gets 12 guaranteed operations plus a 0.1 break chance for the energy core, which means on average we get like 20-ish, probably not even, operations per core, which is like an awful deal. And spend all that work to make an energy core to spawn 20 mobs? Go away. I'm going to put an underclocker in it that tends to increase the amount of, I think it doubles the amount of cycles until the thing has a chance to break, and it reduces the break chance afterwards. Something like that. Underclock. Half as fast, but it doesn't say how much it raises the number. But energy cores are valuable. To make up for the slow speed, I made good motors and good batteries. So anyways, I guess good luck. Are you doing a thing? I don't think you're doing a thing. Oh wait, there it goes. It spawned a mob under it. The mob got disassembled. Okay, good. So I just oh, it doesn't even consume the item. I see. All right, let's see what happens if I get an ender pearl. I'm afraid the enderman's gonna teleport because it's gonna like spawn it somewhere where it's suffocating. All right, one enderman, please. Please. Pretty please. Hey, there he is. Oh, look, he's no, he's not even a short enderman. Okay, so yeah, this works. This produces mob drops for us, and I think this is easier to do than trying to summon them with the like the morb system, because we can't automatically use morbs. But anyways, I'm just gonna put up some type of collector here. In fact, I can just add this. This is Yeah, I can just add this to our vacuumulator here. Oh wait, is this not filtered? No, there it is. That'll pick up the mob drops that come out, and this is just a servo, right? Yeah, that'll send the items that don't go into these caches, it'll just send into our primary storage containers. The underclocker is a lie. I got 12 monster dust from one core thingy. I'm not wasting more energy cores. We're just doing this by hand. Even if doing it by hand totally sucks, it sucks less than wasting energy cores. Dust is the other thing that takes a little bit of processing, but we can get that quite easily from Sheldonite. So it takes a little bit of processing, but we have it. Anyways, then we just have to arc furnace it. It is 2 dust to 1 ingot. So actually, is a stack of dust enough? Yeah, we only need 1 per. A stack of dust makes 32 ingots, which is not a lot, if we're being honest. It takes our biggest use of it so far is lumium gears go into these upgrade kits. But besides that, I guess once we make the reactor casings, technically there's this recipe that we can use like once we have our multi-blocks, but it's kind of more expensive, right? Like if we consider lumium as the only thing that has value in the recipe, this recipe is technically more expensive than this one. Kind of weird. With that smelted up, that gives us our casings. Good, so that's casings and controllers with spare lumium for later, and all that's left are coils. So that's a lot of electrum, platinum, and signalum. I've already made a whole bunch of signalum, so I think that's not that bad. 32. That's a relatively large number. So I need 32 signalum gears. Yeah, we have enough. I feel like I went through this exact process of something like interactions, needing a lot of difficult to make material, but already having it on hand. Anyways, electrum, that one might actually be worse. Can I make 32 gears out of that? 32 gears takes 2 stacks, so not quite enough. These 32 coils will use 48 of our precious energy cores, which still only stack to 4, so a lot of clicking to craft them, but aha! Chapter completed. Nice, that gives us a speed up thing, and we'll apply it to one of our things, although at this point it's probably not terribly relevant what we put it on. I don't know. This one. Don't know which one that is, but we've sped it up. Alright, so anyways, let's build this machine out. Of the things, we're not building that, we're building this one, the resource reactor. Oh, that's huge. Looks like we need a couple more pieces. Yeah, so I guess the quest only asks for the key blocks, but we still need like the, you know, quartz, some coal coke, packed ice, yada yada yada. Looks like we're gonna have to make a few more coils because stuff like each of the hatches looks like they take a coil, and there's about 10 total hatches that go on the machine. I've gathered up all of these materials, so let's place this thing into the world here. I think we can fit it here without having to like move anything. I might have to replace one oh, I can't replace that stone brick, right? Because that stone brick is a redstone device. Yeah, that's why I use stone brick there. Let's shift it. Here, we can just tuck it in this corner, get rid of the sugarcane farm if needed. Seems reasonable. Ta-da! All built and wired up. It's just missing inputs now. So it barely fits here. In fact, if we look upstairs, we can see that the top of the reactor is the floor of our upper level. Oh well, as long as it works, I'm not going to complain. So anyways, using this machine, we can now start getting into Age 3, or Part 3. This requires us to start making black iron, which I believe we make the block form. Yeah, so that's made from steel, easy, coal coke, easy, smoky quartz, easy, right? This is just quartz, basically. So the 2 non-trivial things are otherworldly stone and metamorphic fungal stone. This is made in a fluid agitator with blue matter and petroleum. Okay, that's not too bad. Is this used for anything else? No, literally just black iron. Okay, so we can just, I don't know how much black iron we need. Is it used in block form very often? It's used in block form to make Enderium. Oh boy, that's a lot of resident ender too. We probably, oh, hold on. Now, we're not going to get into psi unless absolutely needed. So it's only really used in block form to make Enderium. Otherwise, This is the worst deal in the history of deals. And then this is used in ingot form to make a handful of other things. But I guess we probably don't need an absolutely tremendous amount of it. Okay, so if we just batch craft like a stack of otherworldly stone, that's probably enough. And then metamorphic fungal stone comes from one of the Botania flowers, I think. It converts the stones into their metamorphic version, and then we can mine it. So, okay, that seems simple enough. Let's start with the otherworldly stone, because that's the slower process of the two. Just have to melt down some of the blue matter blocks. We have a lot of this that has come from our flower. In fact, we have 1.6 thousand, of which we need 16, so exactly 1% of our stock. And then melt down some petroleum dust as well. The fluid agitator, which actually makes the otherworldly stone, appears to require an exact recipe map. That is, if the recipe does not require an item, you have to not give it an item. So we can call that today's factory tech annoyance of the day. That should be a thing. The factory tech annoyance of the day. Anyways, it's honestly not a very big deal. So that makes the otherworldly stone. Then we have to make this now, and I need to figure out which of the Botania flowers it is. So let's read our book. The flower is called the metamorphosis, and it just converts nearby stone into metamorphic stone. So that should be the recipe. And I'm going to because we don't need a lot of this, I'm just going to reuse our system here. So instead of, let's see, we can turn off this, but you can really go anywhere, right? As long as you're not powered by redstone. Yeah, there we go. And that converts the blocks into the metamorphic variant. So I guess we have to add this to the thing to be vacuumulated. All the metamorphic stones. Okay, good. At least they only take one item slot here. Place the zombie skulls. So this will get picked up. It uses significantly less mana than the other, what you call this thing, than the orchid. So we can probably speed this up. How do I? Hello? Do it. One item every 2 seconds, maybe? Is that too fast for the stone generator? No, it looks fine. The stone generator every now and then gets stuck like that, but it fixes itself. All right, anyways, yeah, this looks like it's fine. We get a mix of various stone types, and for now we only need fungal, so we might have to run it a while to get enough of specifically fungal, because if we look now, we have all different types. And in fact, we've only gotten one piece of fungal so far. By going to a different biome, we can influence, like, you get the type that matches your biome the most, but we don't exactly get to choose what biome we are in. We are in the void biome, so maybe the void biome means we get all at equal odds. But yeah, we just have to let that run a while. Nothing fancy to be done. Just wait. I tuned the timing on our fungal stone generator here a little bit more, and I got this interesting behavior where the stone doesn't even appear to form until it's been pushed away. Weird, but I guess yeah, 1.5 seconds is the exact timing you want for, at least if with a vanilla stone generator. I think it's the exact timing you get because that's how often the lava attempts to flow. So this is a relatively fast thing, and let's check and see how much of that metamorphic fungal stone we have. Fungal is 30. Okay, so we're halfway there. It's only been like a couple minutes. So a couple more minutes and we'll get the rest of the way there. This resource reactor that we just made is a pretty energy hungry device. So even this first recipe we're doing with it is 2500 RF a tick, and then later we'll be making a lot of this primordial energy, which is 7500 RF a tick, which means we're going to have to produce at least, almost 7500. These dynamos produce 480 each at their current tier. We can probably go up one more tier, but I'm thinking we're also going to need at least a handful more dynamos as well. So this is 4. We can make a handful. Let's start by upgrading the 4 we have to Signalum tier, and then seeing how much they produce. But yeah, we're gonna have to get at least close to that 7500 magical number. According to the tooltip here, the base energy generation goes from 160 to 360. So that should more than double, right? 320 would be double. So it's more than double the base production, and we get 2 more augment slots. So I suspect we will go from 480 to maybe 1500 per. That's my estimate. Let's, once we account for the augments, that is. These are loud. But let's see what we end up at. 1800. I mean, that was kind of close. And then the only thing to consider is, do we... Well, I guess our fuel consumption is largely based on how much energy we're at. Oh, I could build these up with upgrades. But I just have to keep an eye on this, make sure we're not consuming fuel faster than we're producing it. I'm pretty sure we're still not. Anyways, 4 by 1800 is what? 4,000 plus 800 times 4, 3,200, 7,200? Hey, that's darn near 7,500. Once we add on the fact that we are still producing energy with these, we can probably, at least from time to time, run 7,500 RF per tick recipes. We technically do have an energy buffer. It's the 1.5 million that's stored in the conduits. Not a lot, but it's something. Anyways, fungal, we now have enough cobblestone. So let's take this. I think it actually has to be fungal stone, right? So run it through a furnace really quickly. And then we can dump all of that into the item input. And we're off to the races. Indeed. Alright, so our resource reactor is reacting away. And out one of these... Oh no, there's only one item out. I don't know why there's 2 fluid hatches, but I guess symmetry. Then again, if we care about symmetry, why is the machine... Who knows? But that's our first little bit of black iron. Alright, quest complete. Next quest is to make scrap. So scrap has a couple recipes. First of all, we're going to have to make a recycler. I've looked at these a little bit, and I think this scrap recipe is the easiest with the bread, flint, fire charge. Although it doesn't really matter. For all practical intents and purposes, 1 scrap is 1 millibucket of this primordial energy. So we can optionally, if we have an excess of scrap, use multiple pieces of scrap to make this process faster. Like if we use a whole stack of scrap, it's 150 ticks. If we use the entire reactor of scrap, it's only 5 ticks. But I think it's like, with 1 scrap, it's 500 ticks, right? With a stack of scrap, it's 150 ticks. So you get a little bit more than 3 times faster by using 64 times the resources. That's not remotely worth it. So since we can basically produce 7,500, I'll add like a 4th dynamo if needed, or a 5th dynamo if needed. We can set up a system that turns 1 scrap into 1 energy by just keeping 1 scrap in the machine at all times. Alright, so how do we... Alright, we still have to settle on one of these scrap recipes. I guess it doesn't really matter which one. How difficult is this? It's not bad. Let me look through these again and we can settle on one of the scrap recipes. Looking at things further, I'm pretty sure this scrap recipe here is by far the easiest. So ink sacs come from squids. I just added squid to our mob quote-unquote farm here. And it's basically free ink sacs. And then as for the other things, fire charges are a pretty easy crafting recipe. Bread comes from wheat, and flint comes from the gunpowder. That comes from our mob farm as well. So for the wheat, I'm just crafting that out here. So I have our phytogenic insulator. I've upgraded it to signalum tier so that it has all 5 nutrient recovery augments in it. That gives it a 95% chance to recover the phytogrow. So yeah, the phytogrow lasts an incredibly long time, and this is a lot of wheat. In fact, this is probably just enough wheat for the foreseeable future when we turn it all into bread. So how much bread is that? That's 5 stacks of bread. That's a lot. Next step is to craft the, what is this thing called? The recycler. So this multi-block is a bit smaller than the other one, thankfully. We're starting to run out of room, and the fact that we were previously given a thing that was supposed to give us like another box, but we didn't get another box out of it. Means that we're even more cramped on room than perhaps we should be. But I think we can make do. The recycler here is a machine with very much a single purpose, and that is to get the scrap that it makes into this item port. So let's seem sensible enough to put it right next to it. This version of modular machines doesn't let me rotate the preview, so that does make the preview pretty darn useless. And we're off. So plugged it in, it's making scrap. We have 800 pieces of it already. Wow, this makes scrap pretty darn quick. So I want to insert scrap one at a time into this machine. So if I set this to 1 and this to 1, this will only take one piece of scrap at a time from here and put it into the item input, I think, if we turn it on. So we should see one piece of scrap get pulled over. Come on. Are you running? Let's see item input. This is an item input. That is a retriever on... Oh, I need it on whitelist. There we go. So that pulls one piece of scrap over at a time, which runs our machine here in highly efficient mode, and we are now making the thing. We're going to run into a problem with energy, because right now our flux duct can only deliver 4,000 RF a tick. So I'm going to see what happens if... I forget how modular machines behave when they're underpowered. Do they progress backwards, or do they just stop? Okay, they just instantly stop. That's not good. And they continue to draw energy. That's really bad. All right, let's disconnect this, and I think if I just put the last point of connection as a higher tier cable, it'll be able to send energy in faster, right? So if I get flux ducts, Signalum is the best I can make now, and that is 1600 RF a tick, which is sufficient. And in fact, even one tier down, the redstone energy flux duct is sufficient. So if I plug that in... Okay, so I guess we need something like this. So 2 connection points from our hardened flux duct to our redstone energy flux duct allows 8,000 RF a tick to be transferred from the hardened part to the redstone energy part. But you are still complaining about lack of energy. Oh, are you transferring energy cyclically? I didn't think you would do that. Let me figure out a way to transfer this energy a bit more intelligently, shall we say. The root of the issue I'm running into here is that when you connect redstone energy flux duct to hardened flux duct or Signalum plated item ducts / fluid ducts, they don't actually form a proper multi-block. So like when all of my other pipes form a multi-block, regardless of whether they're the hardened flux duct or the Signalum plated ones, because I think they have the same transfer rate, but because the redstone energy one has a different transfer rate, they don't form a multi-block, which means they have these connection points between them. I think what I'm going to do then is run basically like a high power side of my network and a low power side. I can't just switch all of my energy ducts out to redstone tier, because some of them, you know, in some places I have to, like the way I set things up, I have to use the Signalum plated variant, and there is no Signalum plated, or the item duct variant has no like redstone energy plated. Signalum plated is as good as it gets. So what I'm going to do is have this here. This still can power all of our other ducts while being connected to the dynamos, and then I just need to run a dedicated energy line down somehow. Oh boy, this is gonna get real ugly real fast, but and now I'm stuck. This line will be composed entirely of the redstone energy flux duct, which I should have more of in here, and that'll allow us to transfer more energy down here without ever having to touch the hardened energy. Man, how is this going to work? I'll figure it out. There'll be some dire wire involved. Alright, found a way. It's, again, a little messy, but it gets the job done. So this piece of redstone energy flux duct connects directly to the to the dynamos. And this produces fluid output in one of these. There we go. We have our 1 millibucket of primordial energy. Technically, we still don't quite make enough energy to be able to run this at 100% uptime. So I can, if needed, set up a system to periodically just give this a short little redstone signal, because that'll give time for the energy to recharge. And while it has a redstone signal, it merely pauses its progress. So we can produce primordial energy off of less than 7.5 KRF a tick. I think the long-term solution will be one more upgrade to take these up to the resident tier, where we get a lot more augment and a lot more base energy production. But this requires a little bit more progression, I think. So Enderium ingots require the Enderium blend, which is made in this machine, but it requires like this foul fime and yada yada yada. But let's complete this quest. I doubt this item's gonna work. The last one didn't work, so yeah. Last one didn't work, this one doesn't work either. This quest wants me to submit 10 millibuckets of primordial energy. How do I need to submit that into the submitter thingy? Task screen, I think? Can we, content tweaker error, can we go away, please? Actually, I have an idea. If we temporarily swap out the field limiter for this, our power production should be high enough that we can run that machine at 100% uptime. So I don't have to do the weird redstone toggling thing. And because we are using all the energy coming out of the machines anyways, all the more reason I don't have to worry about, yeah, this, is it going up? It's close. But yeah, all the more reason why I don't have to worry about these excitation field limiters, because, I mean, if we're using 100% of the energy coming out of the, or 100% of the power that the dynamo is capable of producing, these do literally nothing. So I will temporarily stash these in here, and we'll get them again when and if we need them later. I now grabbed a reservoir with 10 millibuckets of primordial energy, and I want to see... okay, we can just submit it directly through that. Nice. And now we have a couple other things opened up. A lot of this stuff I'm not interested in. Meh. A mana storm. So this is what's called the mana storm reactor. It's a weird way of generating mana. Frankly, I don't think it matters. I don't think we're gonna run out of mana at the rate we're going at. Too late for me to care about that. So the next thing to do is to make the upgrade base. This uses primordial energy. In fact, let's build this multi-block, the replication construct. This is the #1 thing that uses primordial energy. There might be something else that uses it. Yeah, we can use it in a couple other ways, but the #1 way to use primordial energy is in the replication construct. Provides some way of making runes. I don't actually know if it consumes the input runes. It's totally not remotely worth, but we can make energy cell frames easier. It can make all the modular machines parts much easier. By the way, this recipe is way cheaper than doing it the crafting way, because we don't have to make the casings. But that does a lot of interesting stuff. Oh, this is a nice cheap cake recipe. We can make cake flours. Another case of probably not worth. But yeah, this lets us make upgrade bases and very easily make living wood, living rock. What else? Very easily make diamonds. Bunch of neat things in here. Before we can build the replication construct, though, we need to take a little bit of our primordial energy, jam it into slime balls. Oh boy, is this slow. How long does this take? 75,000 RF, huh? Alright, well, this is going to need some upgrades, clearly. And that will eventually make some of this Falfheim stuff. How do you pronounce this? Bahefanium? Bahefanium. I don't know. But we need a block of this because that's a component of the replication construct. Right there. This thing's a cute little multi-block, and actually I didn't know that you could define modular machines that had blocks that were literally not touching any other block of the modular machine. So the input and the energy input are kind of floating. But I mean, it says the structure is formed, so I guess it works. Anyways, it needs this primordial energy as a fluid, and I don't have much of it yet, so I'm just moving it around with my my reservoir. 24 millibuckets. It needs energy, so let's plug that in. I'll piggyback off this, I guess. I want to do this. This is perfectly reasonable, right? That'll charge that. The internal buffer of these input buses is actually huge relative to like how much energy I get to store elsewhere. So, alright, that's charged up. And one thing I want to try is, do we get to keep the runes when we craft? So it's crafting the runes now. When we make a tier 2 rune, where's the output? We do not. Well, that makes it an awful way to make tier 2 runes. If we make tier 2 runes on the Britannia altar, we do get to keep our runes. Alright, that was just my curiosity. But the thing we have to make now is the upgrade base. So can be used as a base for upgrading part 3 machines. I think it's not used as is, but it is used to craft things. Part 3. Wait, are we in part 3? How do we? So I saw that these modular machines, how do I show you this? So they say upgrades, but for most of these, when I hover over it, it doesn't show anything, with the exception of the recycler. It says that if I upgrade I presume these bricks to Falfheim bricks, we get up to a 64% chance to not consume materials. But then what do these upgrade bases do? I mean, okay, so that can make the Falfheim bricks, but with the exception of that, like, do these actually do anything? These are custom blocks. Can we like replace the casings with let's read this. Maybe the quest tells us stuff. We've discovered yada yada yada. No, that doesn't tell me a darn thing. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Let's just make one to complete the quest. So that's just 4 black iron ingots. Easy. We need 4 of these. We're gonna need actually a fair bit of this because this is also the component that makes oh, there it goes. The upgrade base here is the item that goes into making the resident upgrade kits. And in fact, that's actually the... Oh no, I haven't made Enderium yet. It's one of 2 items in the resident upgrade kit that we don't have yet. But it's done now, so let's grab that, complete the quest, and let's stop here for today. There's a couple quests left till the end of part 3, but don't be deceived. We are nowhere near this yet. These individual steps are quite large, so while it's only 2 quests, it's 2 rather significant quests before we're at the end of part 3. So, yeah, we'll come back next time, continue to work our way towards the Gaia Spirit. One nice thing about the Gaia Spirit is this gives us creative flight. So, there's a tiara in here somewhere, I think, maybe? Oh, here it is. Yeah, if we get some 4 Gaia Spirits, we can get creative flight, which will make it so that I can go from, like, you don't understand how hard it is for me to do maintenance on my base sometimes. For me to get back there, I have to come here, jump onto this, walk over here, and, yeah, like, get over here. And if I'm not careful, I take fall damage. So, creative flight will make getting around our horribly cramped base much easier. In any event, I think I've blabbed on enough here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.